All right, let me begin with Inibehe. Inibehe, do you think that the president's address was able to douse tensions, from the protesters?
I want to start by quarreling with your characterization of Mr. Tinubu's speech. I listened to your introductory comments where you described heartfelt. It was anything but heartfelt. The president's address was devoid of empathy. It was not sensitive to the demands of protesters. The president did not show any indication that he's listening or that he had heard what Nigerians have been saying since he basically came into office. The protest is just a climax of months of anger that has been building. And when I listened to what he said and read the address that he has put out today, I wasn't particularly disappointed, because disappointment has to be preceded by expectation. I have little or no, I don't have much expectation. Let me just put it that way. I don't have much expectation of the Tinubu regime. I don't think this is a man who is coming with a vision to transform Nigeria. I think for him, it is just about his turn. It is just about the sense of entitlement to the seat of power. So when you say that his speech was heartfelt, it wasn't heartfelt. He did not condemn the senseless killing of Nigerian protesters, peaceful protesters across the country. You would have seen what happened in Kano, I think yesterday, where people were just basically on a procession, and then the police just rammed in and opened fire and killed people. There have been quite cases of reckless and indefensible killing across the country. Look at what is happening currently in the UK. Riot is taking place in many parts of the United Kingdom today because people are protesting against mass immigration. I'm not aware that a single person has been killed. In the UK, properties have been burnt, houses have been burnt, hotels have been burnt, even migrants have been brought out of their vehicles, and like there's serious UK. But when you watch on TV and you see the way the police in the United Kingdom is responding to the riots, you begin to wonder why Africa, and in Nigeria in particular, continues to go towards the path of this primitive path.
Okay, Mr. Effiong.
There has to be a democratic way of engagement, and the Nigerian police has not demonstrated any seriousness in respecting the rights of protesters.
All right, Mr. Effiong, let's throw the question to Michael. Michael, you heard what Mr. Effiong said. He said he doesn't think the president's address is sensitive and it wasn't heartfelt. So does the president's address adequately address the concerns or even show a genuine understanding of the struggles and pains that the protesters are actually going through? Do you think so?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I agree with the comment you just said, because his opinion truly reflects the thinking of many Nigerians who must have felt enthusiastic the need of a president to address the nation. People have been having that call. Even before we started the protest, many people have felt that Tinubu had to address the nation to try and even say some things that can even down the tension on ground. So that the speech was, of course, much anticipated. But people who had illusion in it presently are now extremely disappointed by the level of empty rhetoric that Tinubu made today. If I took like speaking without truly addressing anything. If you look at the speech from the beginning to the end, there was no point where Tinubu intent or make any clear clarity concerning the demands of Nigerians. Even aside the demands, all of what transpired within the last 2 hours. Instead, he did not even say anything about the loss of lives. He mentioned it as if those lives were just numbers, or just entities that I doesn't really care about. We are talking about over 30 lives of Nigerians who have been lost in the last 2 hours. Yet, no one has been held responsible for it. And the president gave a speech without hinting or even charging that professors are going to be made responsible for what transpired in the last 72 hours. It's crystal clear that himself is in agreement with all of the atrocities, all of the attacks that have meted on Nigerians in the last 72 hours of this protest. So that this event today, not short of expectation of anyone who has any genuine expectation from Mr. President. So that clearly,
I'm sorry, please, can you come back again? You said who is in agreement with the atrocities that is going on with Nigerians? I didn't really get you there.
I said the fact that the president did not condemn the atrocities that happened in the last 72 hours, in terms of loss of life, and even injuries, and attack on the right of Nigerians to peaceful assembly, shows that the president himself is complicit with all of the things that the Nigerian police force has done to innocent protesters in the last 72 hours of this protest.
Okay.
Because all we expect a right-thinking president to do is to even condemn the loss of lives, because lives don't just get off like that. It was some actions that led to that loss of life. It was the actions of Nigerian police force who melted havoc on innocent protesters that led to this loss of life that we are talking about today. So that the president also, in fact, even start the statement by even saying that he himself recognized Nigerians were killed,
Okay.
and individuals like the IGP, the CP of police, ought to have been held responsible for this sort of life. We cannot live in a country where people don't die and then everyone will be quiet like that. It is unacceptable. So what the president said today,
all right,
it is an empty
Michael.
statement. It has no point.
All right, Michael, let me go back to Mr. Effiong. Now, the removal of fuel, let's talk about the removal of fuel subsidies and the abolition of multiple, foreign exchange systems that were mentioned as necessary economic measures. How do you think that these decisions have impacted the average Nigerian?
The problem I have with the whole fuel subsidy debate, one of the problems I have is the deception, the deceit, the duplicity of it. Has fuel subsidy been removed? My understanding is that there was a partial removal of subsidy, not complete, because the government is still paying subsidy.
Through the back door, where nobody is actually really sure about that. It's removed.
No, it has been paid. It is you can fact check this. There was a draft document presented by the Minister of Finance to the President. It was widely reported in the media where it is quoted to have been stated that not less than 3 trillion was paid. They haven't said they are not paying subsidy. Even Erufai, who is also in a position to know, attested to that fact. So subsidy is being paid. There is no government, there is no civilized government in any part of the globe that does not subsidize certain things for its citizens. What do Nigerians really gain from their government? So you cannot say that subsidizing fuel is itself an intrinsically bad economic decision. The problem has always been the corruption. The problem has always been payment of undeserved claims, subsidy claims. We saw even as far back as the former Minister of Finance, who is now the head of the World Trade Organization, right? Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has attested to this fact. Subsequent government, it has been shown that the problem is the corruption, the problem is the lack of transparency, the problem is the deceit that has characterized the subsidy payment. Tinubu has not addressed that. As I speak to you, Mr. Yari is still heading NNPC. How do you explain that? Right? We saw how the Buhari administration or the Buhari regime basically bastardized the entire country. We are also seeing the level of economic vandalism that has been perpetuated by the past government. So, but you still have Tinubu returning Yari in NNPC. Does that tell you that this president is interested in having a transparent subsidy regime or in cleansing the oil sector? Does that tell you? Does that give you an indication?
All right,
So
Michael.
The point I'm making is that they cannot just be saying these things. There is nothing wrong, intrinsically wrong with subsidy, except that the issue of corruption has not been addressed. Now, even if you have removed subsidy, the money that has been derived, that the government has made from removal of subsidy, hasn't impacted on Nigerians. Rather, the president is telling us that he has given about over 700 billion, if I'm not mistaken, to state governors to ameliorate the hunger in the country. Is that a sensible decision? governors who have basically stolen resources of their state, governors that cannot be held accountable, governors that have not accounted for their federal allocation, and you just bring out money and throw to them and say, go and reduce on.
All right, Inibehe. All right, Inibehe. Let me talk to Michael now. Now, Inibehe talked about, some of the problems being corruption, deceit, lack of accountability, and transparency. Now, do you think that President Tinubu's call, we're still talking about the protests, by the way, do you think that his call for the suspension of the protests and also embracing dialogue is a step in the right direction? Because he has already said that, most of the initiatives, the removal of fuel subsidy has not impacted on Nigerians. So what difference will the dialogue, make if the protesters or the leaders decide to speak to the president?
Well, thank you very much. I think we've made this point clear. Of course, in one instance, our protest itself is a form of speaking to the government. If I just like government has found it has been offensive, but protest itself should be a way of dialoguing or speaking with government. And we have made this point clear that if the government itself is genuine about dialoguing with youth, it is very simple. You don't even need to meet us. What you need to do is say, okay, why are the youth protesting? What are the demands these youth are making? What are the demands can you meet? Because you can't just come to the table without any commitment to say that, okay, you want to meet the demands of this youth. So that the step that have been taken, not before now, is for President himself to begin to meet some of these demands. Okay, out of the 10 demands, these are the 3 demands I think can be met immediately. These are what I think we can work towards that will give time to say. So these are things that can make the Nigerian youth themselves feel like the government of the day is capable or interested in giving answers to their questions. But what we've seen, not just in the last 22 hours, even before we started the protest, is the opposite of that. That government, instead of using the energy to see how they address the demands of these protesters, went ahead to start using state resources for some propaganda and different forms of antics against the protests. And even when we began this protest, a right-thinking government that truly wants dialogue ought to have, as a matter of urgency, see, okay, what are the demands that can be met? But they did not show any of this, either in their body language or even the speech that we heard today. Because we all heard what Mr. President said. He did not at any point make mention of any of the demands being said by the youth. But all he said today was a clear indication that he is not ready to meet the demands.
All right, Michael.
A clear indication that he is not capable of resolving all of the questions we are asking him. So that, which is why many of us today do not feel energized, do not feel any level of enthusiasm in what President has said today.
All right,
like
Michael.
I said, it's just empty.
Thank you so much, Michael. Sorry, we'd actually have to wrap up the conversation right now, but thank you so much, Michael and Inibehe, for joining us and speaking to us on this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.